Hey guys, welcome to an interesting and Wild Rift. So today we're back with a pretty interesting one. Today we're going to be talking about how to come back from behind or how to win a losing game. And I'm going to walk you guys through step by step on what steps I take and how we go about it. But at the same time, this is a dual purpose video, so it's also a Kai'Sa supplementary guide. And we're going to be talking about AP Kai'Sa. So we're going to talk about both topics at the same time in the video. You guys will tune in and see. But let's first go through the loadout for Kai'Sa. So pretty standard AP loadout. First up, you want to start off with the Terminus. Terminus, of course, best first item for Kai'Sa. Gives you AD attack speed, 35 magic damage on hit, as well as the passive, which gives you stacking resistances as well as stacking penetrations. Of course, this is really useful on Kai'Sa because Kai'Sa loves those 1v1 duels, and the stacking resistances help out a lot, and the stacking penetration also helps out a lot because she does mixed damage. Next up, we're gonna go for boots. Now, for the boots, since you're getting it as a second item, most of the time you're normally getting Gluttonous Greed still for the early AD and the vamp. However, sometimes you can actually go for defensive boots as a second item instead, which is what I gone for in this game. So you don't have to waste money selling your Gluttonous Greaves and then getting defensive boots later. So of course your defensive boots are going to be the steel caps or the merc treads, so you can go for either of those as well. So being an AP build, you want to go for Nashor's Tooth. Now Nashor's Tooth initially, because of the AD from Terminus and possibly Greaves, will actually be an AD item, but when you get Riftmaker, it will convert into an AP item. So this one gives you, of course, attack speed, ability haste, as well as AD/AP. Initially is going to be AD for you, and then it gives you magic damage on hit, which scales off your bonus AD as well as your AP. And then you're going to get Riftmaker. This will, of course, convert Nashor's Tooth into an AP item and give you 60 AP. Now, Riftmaker is an amazing Kai'Sa item. It gives you Omnivamp, which you really want those healing. You get really good stats. And, of course, you get the Void Corruption passive, which with Kai'Sa will proc a lot because it takes 3 seconds to kind of charge up. But Kai'Sa gets into long fights when she, of course, is an ADC that DPSs in those long fights. And this, of course, is going to help you out a ton with that. Now, honestly, the best item you can get at this point is actually going to be Runas. Now, Runas is kind of a trash AP item, or I mean, it gives kind of trash stats in general. 35% attack speed is decent. The 20 AD or the 40 AP is kind of horrible. But what you're really after is the Wind's Fury passive, allowing you to attack 3 people at the same time. Now, this does, of course, allow you to proc your passive onto 3 people at once, and that is going to be amazing. And also just for DPS and applying on-hit effects like from Terminus or from Nashor's Tooth, and also Runas itself, that's just insane. And last item, of course, being a AP build, it is going to be Death Cat, which boosts your AP a ton and gives you a bunch of damage. However, for your last item, you do have a ton of other options as well. You don't necessarily have to go Death Cat for the damage. You can go for like Crown for the safety. You could go even for normal, like so quote unquote normal items like GA for the revive. Of course, you have Starex, and you have Maw. You know, items like these all just work very well as well. So for the runes, of course, Lethal Tempo, because you're an ADC that attacks a lot, so you want that extra attack speed as well as attack range. Brutal, same reason. Giant Slayer to deal with the tanks. Attack speed from Alacrity, of course, just to auto tank even more. And Bone Plating, of course, for the defensive capabilities in both the early game as well as the late game. And then for the spells, is going to be Flash. And then, of course, you can choose between your usual options of Cleanse, Barrier, Exhaust. You know, are your usual options. You can choose depending on your team comp. But with all that said, now let's talk about our gameplay and how we come back into the game. Okay, so let's have a look at our gameplay and how exactly we come back into the game. Now, of course, I'm not really going to talk so much about you know, getting back into the game at the start of the video, because obviously, or the start of the gameplay, because obviously we can't possibly be behind, you know, at minute 1, right? I mean, of course you could if like your team invades and like 2 or 3 people die, but that's not the situation here. So we're gonna talk a little bit about AP Kai'Sa first. So honestly, currently, Kai'Sa's like best build, of course, involves going for Terminus first, and then normally you go into Bork and Riftmaker. So actually, technically, this is very close to Kai'Sa's best build. The only real change is you're changing Bork for Nashor's Tooth, and in this case, Bork is not that handy in this match because the enemy team is really, really squishy, so Bork doesn't really help me that much anyway. And my team kind of needs AP because if you look, we have a Yasuo mid, So we are kind of lacking in AP. Of course, Karma does have first strike, so she's probably building some kind of damage. So we will have a little bit of AP from there. But I felt that you already have a lot of constant AD DPS from Yasuo, so probably just going for um, AD from Yasuo, sorry, and so probably just going for extra AP is just going to be great. And of course, we still do a decent amount of AD damage from this build as well. So here you can see we're getting to some early game traits with the enemy bot lane, which is of course going to be a Morgana Tristana. This is a pretty deadly bot lane because if you get rooted by Morgana ever, it's a one-way ticket to Tristana jumping on you with her bomb and then blowing you up. So in this case, I was choosing a lot. I was debating a lot between taking either Exhaust or Cleanse because Exhaust will help me against Tristana's bomb in particular, but also against like the other three champions in the game that want to jump on me, like Yone, Irelia, and Wukong. But at the same time, Cleanse can help me to cleanse from Morgana's root, Irelia's stun, Yone's knockup, Wukong's knockup. So kind of both were really useful. So in the end, I decided to actually just go for the cleanse because I think that cleanse is probably going to save me more than exhaust is in certain scenarios. So here we've gotten the wave nicely frozen at our side as Yasuo already picks up 2 deaths. And here I'm not sure how that hit me because I thought I was in the minions, but I guess I was not. On the replay you can kind of see that I was not was not inside the minions. So regardless, we are having a very safe time farming here because it's like right outside our tower. Tristana having to overextend a ton, but with Amumu showing on mid and picking up a double kill, it's kind of obvious that he's not going to be ganking. So this gives Tristana probably a free base. I'm assuming that she's recalling here, which she is. So we're going to match the recall as well. And here, unfortunately, you can see that a mistake that Karma made is Karma actually went to take 1 or 2 minions because I think she needed gold to get the mana boots, and that completely screws our wave up because the wave was in an even state and now it's actually pushing towards the enemy side. So what could have happened here is if Tristana frozen the wave, we'll be stuck in the same problem as her where we are stuck on the other side unable to farm. But here you can see that Tristana does not do that at all and instead pushes out the wave completely and crashes it under our tower, which actually is very beneficial for us because it means that we're going to have a much easier time farming here. So you can see we're just picking up all these minions and this will give us level 5 like so. And now both bot lanes are level 5. And here at this point, of course, we are still not yet very far behind. The game is kind of just pretty even. Maybe enemy team has a slight advantage, but at this point, there's not too much to be concerned about. It's still a pretty normal game. Now here, you can see Tristana is actually roaming to mid. And I'm pinging the roam. You can see I'm pinging danger, but Yasuo just apparently does not care. Tristana flashes him with the ult. That's very important here to pay attention to what Tristana is doing. So here you can see I'm farming. Morgana is not disturbing me whatsoever. So what I have here, this is the replay tool of course, but in the game itself, I had my camera pan to Tristana in the mid lane to see exactly what she was doing. So from that, I saw that she flashed and ulted. Now this means I have a really good window in bot lane to possibly get a kill on Tristana or Morgana because I know Tristana doesn't have flash, I know she doesn't have ult, and the flash cooldown of course is like 2 minutes or so, so of course this will give me a window. Like here, so see Morgana and Karma going on each other, so I'm just focusing Morgana. On the side we get her. I'm not gonna cleanse the stun because I'm not in any immediate danger. I know Tristana still has to jump, so even if I cleanse to attack her, she's just gonna jump away like so. But either way, the fact that Tristana didn't have flash or ult meant that we could kill Morgana because Tristana obviously doesn't have the ult damage to kind of trade the kill. So we're able to get a kill onto Morgana and take advantage of the fact that she doesn't have flash and ult. And here the Amumu takes advantage of the fact that Tristana also doesn't have flash and ult and actually dives her under the tower and gets a kill on her, but trades 1-for-1 with the Irelia. So now we're having an issue. If we take a look at the scoreboard, Irelia is 5-1. How has this happened? Well, Yasuo has 4 deaths, so I'm going to assume that Irelia has probably killed Yasuo a bunch of times. She just killed Amumu there as well. So the situation is not looking too good, right? Because Irelia is now 5-1, and in fact Yone is also 1-0, and I didn't arrange the scoreboard properly, but Yone is the top laner and Irelia is the mid laner. So Yone has like a 1k goal lead against Set, and here Irelia has like I don't know, it's double the goal of Yasuo. It's like 3k goal lead against Yasuo. And here the enemy team is we managed to actually take the dragon. And here you can see Irelia just destroys us, and yeah, here is the kind of the point where 5 minutes, 6 minutes into the game, I realize that we are really far behind because I'm taking a look at my scoreboard. I see Yone is like now at this point 2k gold up on the set. Irelia is like 3k plus, like nearly 4k gold up on Yasuo, and of course jungle is even. Bot lane is relatively even. In the sense that Tristana is slightly ahead of me, but in the sense is that every lane is kind of almost even except a huge top gap and mid gap. Like the goal leads in top and mid are just ridiculous. You can see overall my team is 7k goal behind at 6 minutes into the game, and the game is like really dire now. At the very least, we get dragon, so enemy team will not get a soul, but honestly it's mountain soul, so it's not really even that relevant. Here I was just trying to find Morgana. So now here is where I realized that we are having a problem and we really need to go into the how do I win from behind mode. So I'm going to describe to you guys what I'm doing here. So the first step on winning from behind is to basically farm it out, right? And of course I'm talking about as an ADC. If you're the tank or if you're the support, it's a completely different thing, but of course we're talking about in the role of an ADC. So basically you want to farm up, you want to play safe, right? So the whole like main tagline, or how you, like in one sentence, how do you win from behind? Farm up, play safe, and look for opportunities. Now what are opportunities? Well, it could be either one or two enemies overextending and being out of position, and then you kill them and get their shutdowns, or it could be the whole enemy team ins by picking a very bad fight, like they 5-man dive your nexus, 5-man dive your tower, and the wrong guy is tanking the tower, or they completely ignore you and they're focusing your frontline tanks, things like that. So these opportunities most of the time will happen. Right now, of course, I do have to make it quite clear in the video that it's not every game that the enemy team screws up, although I will say that it happens more often than not. Like more than 50% of the time, the enemy team is going to get overconfident, make a mistake, and then you're going to capitalize on it. I mean, even when I'm in the lead, I do those kind of mistakes as well. So it's very common any team will make a mistake, either overextending or picking a bad fight, and then that will of course allow you to possibly get shutdowns and get back into the game. So here you can see I have both my flash and my cleanse, so I am pretty safe. I can see only Wukong was focusing me at the start, and now Tristana's focusing me. I don't expend either my flash or my cleanse because I know they don't have the damage to kill me, and I know that the main threat of the enemy team is going to be Yone and Irelia. Now, of course, other people like Morgana and Wukong are threats as well, because Wukong can engage for Irelia or Yone, and Morgana can root and give them the shields, things like that. But here you can see I'm just hovering around the side of the fight. Now here is where sometimes you have to take risks, right? So when you're behind, you sometimes have to go for the risky play, especially if it's for a shutdown. So here Irelia is 9-1. I want that Irelia shutdown, so I'm trying to see what I can do. I'm not gonna overchase those. I'm pretty cautious here. Irelia is going in for the stun, gets the stun onto the karma, goes all the way in, and here I'm hoping to get the shutdown, but unfortunately, Set gets the shutdown. So this is very unfortunate because one of the things that you can do when you're behind is you can trade 1-for-1 for shutdowns, right? Because if we think about it, Irelia killing me is, I mean, it's not great, right? But she gets like only 300 gold. If I kill her, I get 300 gold and the shutdown as well, which I think is like 600 gold shutdown. So I think like I'll get like 600 gold in total, or yeah, I'll get like 600 gold in total. So I get double the amount of gold for killing her than she gets for killing me. So trading 1-for-1 when you're behind is actually worth it if you're trading with the right people, right? Like if you trade 1-for-1 with like a Tristana here, it's probably not that worth, because it's just it's just the same amount of gold, right? But if you trade 1-for-1 with Irelia, with Yone, it's probably worth. Even if you trade 1-for-1 with Wukong, it's probably worth because he's so far ahead compared to other people. So getting him off the map is also going to be pretty worth. But doing so with Tristana or Morgana is not going to be worth it because they aren't really like that far ahead at all, right? It's really their team that's far ahead. So you can see I've already identified the main problems, and that's Irelia and Yone. Of course, Wukong is a secondary problem, and Tristana and Morgana are not big problems right now, but given enough time, Tristana will scale into the game and become a problem. Speaking of which, here is the opportunity. So here you can see Tristana heavily overextends, and here you can see I basically just DPS her down, and I get the kill on her with the help of my ult. So here, as I said, people are going to overextend, and that does of course allow me to find an opportunity to get a pick on her, and at the same time I run away back to my base before Irelia and Yone can cut me off and kill me, and that is a very crucial pick. And I say it's crucial because removing any enemy member off the map and getting gold for it is always going to be amazing when you're behind, right? Like, that's kind of obvious. So here I'm going back to my initial rule, which is play safe and farm it up. I'm just trying to find farm wherever I can. It doesn't matter if it's minions, monsters, or whatnot, but you just want to find farm basically. Although one thing you could go for is objective bounties, but as the ADC, you normally shouldn't be the one to go for objective bounties because it puts yourself at very, very high risk. Because any team is going to stop you. Normally, it's the job of the top laner, or sometimes the mid laner to go for the bounties. So here I'm just removing the enemy vision, although they are going to expire really soon. And here I see the wolves are up, so that could be something I want to consider taking. But here you know, as part of looking for opportunities, you always want to be kind of near your team, but you never want to be really the one in front, right? So here I know that they might go for sets. I'm just standing near him to kind of, if they overcommit and make a mistake, I'm there to ready to pounce. Of course, when I say look for opportunities, if you're never there, right, you're not gonna find any opportunities, right? Because, you know, you're never there. So you have to kind of be in the area to be ready to pounce when an opportunity arises. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So at the same time, of course, keep up the farm. And you can see that in terms of gold, I'm really close to Tristana. And here we're looking for a pick on Tristana, but she's able to dash and flash away. And with that unsuccessful pick, we kind of have to run for it. Here Irelia is trying to go for me again, but I'm able to use my cleanse and my flash to escape. And we are able to live to see another day. Yeah, but it's not too great. Now here you can see Set is actually going for the objective bounty. Now what we're doing here is just keeping them interested in the inhib, which they're already very interested in anyway. So that Set can actually get the inhib, and he does. So he gets one, not inhib, get the tower, he gets one objective bounty, and we are able to actually protect our inhib successfully. Now Amumu here, I'm not sure what he's doing. He shouldn't be walking into the jungle like that because you don't really know where the enemies are. Of course, hitting the plant, I saw that they are actually on Baron. And honestly, nothing we can really do about that. Even if Amumu ran straight there, I don't think we could have contested anyway. So now, of course, Baron makes the game a lot harder. Now Wukong goes ham and goes all the way in. Here I see 1 HP over the wall. I'll over get the kill onto him. Trying to get picks onto Tristana and Morgana because their two most fed members are not in the fight. Now the fact that, how do I know they're not in the fight, right? The fact that Wukong, Tristana, and Morgana pounced on us without Yone and Irelia tells me that Yone and Irelia backed immediately after Baron to buy items, whereas the other three of them decided to overextend for a play. So these are another one of those opportunities. On that play, we basically killed two of their members. We killed the Wukong and we killed the Tristana. Of course, now in trade, when Irelia and Yone are back, they actually killed Amumu and Yasuo in return. So in the end, it's a 2-for-2 trade, but you can see that the idea was correct, which is that we want to punish them for their mistakes, and we actually did do that, except that my team got a little bit overzealous, I suppose, and we got punished for our mistakes as well. So here, I want to point out my mistakes as well. So here is one of the first mistakes that I make in this game, which is that here, farming this wave is very dangerous, right? Because we just saw Irelia and Yone both in the bot area, so they could easily be hiding around those bushes and ready to pounce on me, which is also kind of why I'm leaning towards the bottom. But the fact remains that I should not be walking out there because me dying there would be really, really horrendous. Thankfully though, I'm actually not punished for my mistake. I'm actually able to farm, I think, like 3 waves of minions here. But you can see my team is starting a fight without me, so I'm actually pinging, you can't see me ping in the replay too, but I'm actually pinging like don't fight, wait for the group, because I don't want my team, like, of course some games, like when you're behind, number one, enemy team doesn't make a mistake and you lose, but number two, what could also happen is your team just throws the game. Like, they fight when you're nowhere near, and there's nothing you can do, right? There's nothing you can do if your team just all goes in and all dies when you're like on the other side of the map trying to farm or trying to clear wave, right? So in this case, I hit my 3-item power spike on the Riftmaker, and my Amumu is trying to 1v1 the Wukong in the pit for the dragon, but Wukong does get it. And here Amumu needs to find his way back somehow. So this is probably a time where enemy wants to pounce on him, and there is the Yone right on schedule. And here you saw that bot wave. I'm not overextending from that bot wave because that's very, very dangerous. Amumu's going for it and he's kind of getting caught, has to flash out. And here we're just walking around, just waiting for an opportunity to happen. And a lot of the time it's kind of like this when you're behind. Not much you can really do. Speaking of which, Here, set goes in, and here you can see I'm completely untouched. I'm just free hit DPSing, and this is the opportunity I was looking for. I'm just free hit DPSing. Wukong finally goes on me. I use my cleanse. He tries to go too deep for karma. He dies, and here we basically wipe everyone out. We get the triple. We go on Tristana, who we obviously out DPS at this point. We get the quadra, even flashing to make sure we get the last auto in, which we didn't actually need to because she already would have died. And we get an ace. And unluckily from the enemy team, at the point that we get an ace is also the point where the next Baron spawns. So unfortunately, they all died. They gave me a ton of their shutdowns, and now Baron is coming up. And I'm going to take the Hex Gate from bot to top and take Baron with my team. So, as I mentioned, at some point any team might make a mistake, and there it was. Somebody walked up too far, set ulted into the team, wombo combo with Amumu ultimate, and I was just free hitting in the backline. Yone and Irelia did not even attempt to come for me. Wukong was the only one who in the end tried to come for me, but he couldn't really take me out himself. And as a result, we get all those kills. And as a result of that fight, I actually get my entire Runans. And now with Runans, it's going to be a lot easier to deal with the enemy team, especially if they're together. So here now the game is kind of swinging at this point. That kind of reduced the 10k gold lead to a 5k gold lead. And here you can see I'm using my karma as bait. I know someone's going to go on to karma, and here you can see I'm just bursting down the Yone. I know Yone is 1 HP. I can see Irelia in bot lane. So here you can see I'm ulting in like what looks like a madman play, but actually it really isn't. And here I take out basically everybody. All 3 of them die except the 2 most pet members, which is of course the Yone and Irelia. So why did I jump in there 1v3? Well, basically because Yone was 1 HP, he's out of the fight. Irelia is on bot lane, so she's not even in the fight. So it's only left with the 3 people who are behind. Or not behind, but those are the 3 people who are not fed, right? Like Wukong, Tristana, and Morgana really are not doing that well. Like, look at Tristana and Morgana's KDA, and Wukong is not really doing very well either, so I knew I could take them on 1v3, and I knew my team was nearby. And with that, we're just going in to end the game, because Irelia and Yone, no matter how fed they are, they can't actually defend their base like 2v5 or 2v4. And with that, we actually come back and win the game. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys to come back in your games as well. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.